We introduced GPTs, custom versions of ChatGPT that combine instructions, extended knowledge, and actions. We launched the Assistance API to make it easier to build assistive experiences with your own apps. These are our first steps towards AI agents and will be increasing their capabilities over time. We introduced a new GPT-4 Turbo model that delivers improved function calling, knowledge, lowered pricing, new modalities, and more. And we're deepening our partnership with Microsoft.
Hello my friends, how are you doing? I made a 7-minute supercut of the OpenAI announcements. You can watch it in the next segment. But before that, I want to talk about what do these news actually mean to you and how can you use that in your life and also to make money. Now, we all know that AI is processing information, so that's not really news. But the big thing, the life-changing thing that is announced in this OpenAI event, and this actual event, a little bit like a side note, is that they are opening up a platform that's kind of like the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store, where you can build apps with the help of AI for any kind of purpose. Now, what is the importance for that? It changes how we interact with AI, because rather than AI being in your face front and center, AI becomes an invisible layer in between you and the information that is surrounding you. Now, because we are living in the information age and there is just too much information out there that we can process it ourselves, it does not longer make sense to do it ourselves. So because AI is super good at that, this means this is now giving us a link, a direct connection and integration into our daily lives through these apps, through these APIs, in any kind of thing you can imagine, from an app to a website to any kind of tool you're using every day, including your TV, that AI will be able to present and arrange the information to you in a way that is most useful to you and overcome all of the limitations and borders that information presents to you. For example, summarizing information, calculating things, writing code, speaking in different language, all these kind of things, but they have to be fluently integrated in your everyday life so that you, instead of knowing all the information, can build on the experience and the vision that you have for what you want to achieve in life. So right now, it's becoming more important than ever to be a generalist, because the information is the task of the AI, while the vision, the idea, the concept, the goal you want to reach, that is your task. This is what you're here for, to dream big and have the AI help you achieve it. And now it's time to watch the keynote. Have fun watching it.
Welcome to our first ever OpenAI DevDay. We shipped ChatGPT as a low-key research preview. We followed that up with the launch of GPT-4, still the most capable model out in the world. And in the last few months, we launched voice and vision capabilities so that ChatGPT can now see, hear, and speak. We launched ChatGPT Enterprise, which offers enterprise-grade security and privacy, higher speed GPT-4 access, longer context windows, a lot more. We've got about 2 million developers building on our API for a wide variety of use cases, over 92% of Fortune 500 companies building on our products, and we have about 100 million weekly active users now. Today, we are launching a new model, GPT-4 Turbo, context length. GPT-4 Turbo supports up to 128,000 tokens of context. That's 300 pages of a standard book, more control over the model's responses and outputs. We have a new feature called JSON mode, which ensures that the model will respond with valid JSON. It'll make calling APIs much easier. The model is also much better at function calling. You can now call many functions at once, and it'll do better at following instructions in general. We're also introducing a new feature. You can pass a seed parameter, and it'll make the model return consistent outputs. This, of course, gives you a higher degree of control over model behavior. We'll roll out a feature to let you view log probs in the API. Better world knowledge. You can bring knowledge from outside documents or databases into whatever you're building. GPT-4 Turbo has knowledge about the world up to April of 2023, and we will continue to improve that over time. DALL-E 3, GPT-4 Turbo with Vision, and the new text-to-speech model are all going into the API today. Today, Coke is launching a campaign that lets its customers generate Diwali cards using DALL-E 3. GPT-4 Turbo can now accept images as inputs, can generate captions, classifications, and analysis. Be My Eyes uses this technology to help people who are blind or have low vision with their daily tasks like identifying products in front of them. And with our new text-to-speech model, with 6 preset voices to choose from.
Did you know that Alexander Graham Bell, the eminent inventor, was enchanted by the world of sounds?
It also unlocks a lot of use cases like language learning and voice assistants. We're also releasing the next version of our open source speech recognition model, Whisper v3 today. It features improved performance across many languages, customization. Fine-tuning has been working really well for GPT 3.5. Starting today, we're going to expand that to the 16K version of the model. Also starting today, we're inviting active fine-tuning users to apply for the GPT-4 fine-tuning experimental access program. So today we're launching a new program called Custom Models. Our researchers will work closely with the company to help them make a great custom model, especially for them and their use case using our tools. This includes modifying every step of the model training process, doing additional domain-specific pre-training, a custom RL post-training process, it's tailored for a specific domain, and whatever else. We won't be able to do this with many companies to start, at least initially it won't be cheap. Higher rate limits. We're doubling the tokens per minute for all of our established GPT-4 customers, and you'll be able to request changes to further rate limits directly in your API account settings. So we're introducing Copyright Shield. It means that we will step in and defend our customers and pay the costs incurred if you face legal claims around copyright infringement, and this applies both to ChatGPT Enterprise and the API. And let me be clear, this is a good time to remind people, we do not train on data from the API or ChatGPT Enterprise ever. And that's pricing. And GPT-4 Turbo, a better model, is considerably cheaper than GPT-4 by a factor of 3x for prompt tokens and 2x for completion tokens starting today. So the new pricing is 1 cent per 1,000 prompt tokens and 3 cents per 1,000 completion tokens. For most customers, that will lead to a blended rate more than 2.75 times cheaper to use for GPT-4 Turbo than GPT-4. We're also decreasing the cost of GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K. Also, input tokens are 3x less and output tokens are 2x less, which means that GPT 3.5 16K is now cheaper than the previous GPT 3.5 4K model. Running a fine-tuned GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K version is also cheaper than the old fine-tuned 4K version. ChatGPT now uses GPT-4 Turbo. It can now browse the web when it needs to, write and run code, analyze data, take and generate images, and much more. That model picker, extremely annoying, that is gone starting today. You will not have to click around the drop-down menu. ChatGPT will just know what to use and when you need it. Eventually, you'll just ask the computer for what you need, and it'll do all of these tasks for you. So today, we're taking our first small step that moves us towards this future. GPTs are tailored versions of ChatGPT. You can build a GPT, a customized version of ChatGPT, for almost anything. And because they combine instructions, expanded knowledge, and actions, they can be more helpful to you. You can program a GPT with language just by talking to it. As you can see, this GPT brings together Code.org's extensive curriculum and expertise and lets teachers adapt it to their needs quickly and easily. Next, Canva has built a GPT that lets you start designing by describing what you want. You can keep chatting with this to see different iterations, and when you see one you like, you can click through to Canva for the full design experience. So I want to create a GPT that helps give founders and developers advice when starting new projects. And this drops me into the GPT Builder. GPT Builder asks me what I want to make. So to start off, I just tell the GPT a little bit about what I want here. So it just generated a candidate. Of course, I could regenerate that or change it, but I sort of like that. I'm going to upload a file. Here is a lecture that I gave with some startup advice. And now we can try it out over on this preview tab. What are 3 things to look for when hiring employees? Now it's going to look at that document I uploaded. That's pretty good. Those are 3 things that I definitely have said many times. And later this month, we're going to launch the GPT store. You can list a GPT there. Revenue sharing is important to us. We're going to pay people who build the most useful and the most used GPTs a portion of our revenue. Many of you have already been building agent-like experiences on the API. These experiences are great, but they have been hard to build. So today we're making that a lot easier with our new Assistance API. The Assistance API includes persistent threads, so they don't have to figure out how to deal with long conversation history, built-in retrieval, code interpreter, a working Python interpreter in a sandbox environment, the improved function calling that we talked about earlier. So we'd like to show you a demo of how this works.
Imagine I'm building Wanderlust, a travel app for global explorers. These illustrations are generated programmatically using the new DALL-E 3 API. But let's enhance this app by adding a very simple assistant to it. I'm going to switch over to the new Assistants Playground. You just give it a name, some initial instructions, a model. In this case, I'll pick GPT-4 Turbo. And here, I'll also go ahead and select some tools. I'll turn on Code Interpreter and Retrieval and save. Next, I can integrate with 2 new primitives of this Assistants API, threads and messages. The process here is very simple. For each new user, I will create a new thread. And as these users engage with their assistant, I will add their messages to the thread. And then I can simply run the assistant at any time to stream the responses back to the app. If I say, hey, let's go to Paris, that's it. With just a few lines of code, users can now have a very specialized assistant right inside the app. And I'd like to highlight one of my favorite features here, function calling. It now guarantees the JSON output with no added latency, and you can invoke multiple functions at once for the first time. If I carry on and say, hey, what are the top 10 things to do? I'm gonna have the assistant respond to that again. And here, what's interesting is that the assistant knows about functions, including those to annotate the map that you see on the right. And so now all of these pins are dropping in real time here. And it truly showcases now the harmony you can build between AI and UI, where the assistant is actually taking action. Next, let's talk about retrieval. Already booked my tickets to Paris. Drag and drop here this PDF. Retrieval is reading these files. The information about this PDF appeared on the screen. If I go ahead and click on threads, this is the thread I believe we're currently working on, and see like these are all the steps, including the functions being called with the right parameters and the PDFs I've just uploaded. 4 friends staying at this Airbnb. What's my share? What's happening is that Code Interpreter noticed that it should write some code to answer this query. So now it's computing, the number of days in Paris, the number of friends. It's also doing some exchange rate calculation behind the scene to get this answer for us. Imagine you're building a very complex finance app that's crunching countless numbers, plotting charts. So really any task that you'd normally tackle with code, then Code Interpreter will work great for you. Hey assistant, can you randomly select 5 DevDay attendees here and give them $500 in OpenAI credits?
Yes, checking the list of attendees. Done. I picked 5 DevDay attendees and added $500 of API credits to their account.
Oh, you're still here. So this is the end screen. There's other stuff you can watch like this or that. It's really cool. And yeah, I hope I see you soon. Leave a like if you haven't yet. And well, yeah,